Hello, welcome to my bedroom floor again. My name is Dags, as in D-A-G-S, Dags. I just finished wrapping my brother's birthday gifts because it's his birthday tomorrow. And I completely forgot about having to wrap his gifts until like 10 minutes ago. But I got it done. And I was thinking about something. It's nothing profound or deep or anything of the sort. I wouldn't even count these thoughts as valuable, but I wanted to talk about wuhluhwuh, love, relationships, affection, that kind of thing. Not specifically woman loving woman type stuff, but like queer love in general, because I don't know, I was thinking about how it's just so different from straight romance, and it's not necessarily a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing. I was just thinking about the differences. And full disclosure, I am a lesbian, so obviously my thoughts might hold some bias. I'm not I can't say I'm a fan of straight romances. I'm not one to dabble in romance novels if it's straight, because I can't relate to it. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't relate to it. I can't imagine myself as the main character fawning over a man. It's like, you do you, girl, but this isn't something that would make me kick my feet and stuff. But anyways, so yeah. I have a girlfriend. If you've watched any of my videos, then you already know that for sure. But I have a girlfriend, and we've been together for 4 years, turning 5 years. I've known them since I was 14, and I'm 20 now, so it's a lot of years. I basically spent a majority of my teen years with them, which is cool. It can be terrifying to some, cool to others. I don't know. I'm kind of neutral about it, It doesn't feel like that many years has really passed by and stuff, and yet at the same time it feels like it's been an eternity. Time is a social construct. The sooner you keep that in mind, the sooner you'll feel like you're freed from societal restrictions. I don't even know where I was going with that. So yeah, I have experience being in a queer relationship. Okay, and I know what it's like to receive affection or love from the same gender, and I know what it's like to express love towards the same gender. And aside from the obvious differences between queer relationships and straight relationships, which is usually the fact that there aren't exactly masculine and feminine roles. Like, I know a common sort of running joke is lesbians' responses to people asking them, so who's the man in the relationship? It's like, there is no man. Like, we're lesbians, you know what I mean? And I get, I'm thinking about that specific question, and it makes you realize that, maybe without even realizing it or really putting thought into it, people, especially straight people, more traditional people, they have this sort of expectation that relationships especially have two different roles, which is the masculine and the feminine role. Okay, and what constitutes to each role, it's gonna vary from person to person, but more often than not, they're similar in a sense that one is masculine and the other is feminine. What femininity and what masculinity entails, that's a different story. It will depend on each person. So yeah, um, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about queer relationships and specifically lesbian relationships because that's where I have experience. I don't want to come up here and talk about gay relationships with two men in them. I don't know anything about that. I might say something that's not true, and I don't want to do that. Another thing to keep in mind is that these are all just like my personal opinions, my personal thoughts. I always think about making videos that's like backed by some research, but I'm too lazy. Maybe one day I'll do that. I'm thinking about making a video rambling about neoliberalism because I came across the term recently. And I was like, wow, that sounds like an interesting term. And so I kind of did a deep dive on it to figure out what exactly it means and whether it's good or bad. But that's not the point. That's not what we're talking about right now. I'm talking about lesbian relationships. And so yeah, the thing with lesbian relationships, at least in mine, and I'm sure it's not only my lesbian relationship, there's no man. And it's not just that there's no man, it's that there's no masculine or feminine roles. The thing there is that I am mask presenting. Okay, I'm a mask lesbian. What can I say? I look, the way I present myself, the way I act, sort of the way I carry myself, it can be described as masculine. That's not, that's just how I am. I didn't take a class on how to be a mask lesbian. Like, this is how I've been since birth. And my girlfriend, they're very feminine. I wouldn't say they're completely coquette, cottagecore type of feminine, but it's very obvious when you see us together. I'm the mask and they're the femme. But the thing there is that that's only exclusive to the way that we present ourselves, the way that we style ourselves. That's the only thing about us that sort of puts a label on who's masculine and who's feminine. When it comes to roles, like what we put into the relationship, how we act towards each other as a couple, there's no masculine and feminine. Do you know what I mean? Except for maybe how I usually, maybe 90% of the time, I will be the one carrying their stuff when we'd go out. But I don't know, it's even that, I wouldn't call that a strictly masculine role. You know what I mean? It's like, for example, that carrying people's stuff, is that a masculine thing? Like, what about that makes that masculine? And if it were a woman doing that, does that still make it masculine? It's like, this was a recent lesson, but I forget the terms in every lesson that I study. However, I always remember the concepts, and the concept that I'm remembering now is that a lot of the things we do that are considered masculine and feminine, it's all a social construct, not the things in particular, not the actions themselves, but the fact that they're viewed as masculine or feminine and put into boxes. That is a societal thing. That's a social construct, why does man mean strong and muscular? Why does feminine mean quiet and obedient and subservient? You get the picture. So yeah, that's one of the major differences that I noticed in queer and straight relationships, specifically lesbian relationships. And again, it's really nice for me. Well, I am a lesbian, so obviously it's nice being in a lesbian relationship. And I'm sort of gonna elaborate on that by saying that, well, como se dice? I'm losing my train of thought. Please don't click away. Trust in the process. The gears are grinding. I'm getting somewhere. Like, I promise you. So yeah, there are no roles. We take care of each other. I know that sounds like kind of shallow and kind of like super simple, but long story short, we take care of each other. And I'm not saying that straight couples, heterosexual couples, don't take care of each other. You know, it's just different. Like, there's no other way for me to describe it, but it's different. And I'm just talking about relationship dynamics there. It's, the affection and expressing love, that's a whole nother thing. And the thing that comes to mind, like right off the top of my head, is how lesbians love so hard. And obviously, I can't generalize it. It's not like every lesbian in the world loves the same way or to the same extent. But since, again, society, girls are sort of more in touch with their emotions. And this creates the whole idea, the whole notion that girls are more emotional. Okay? But why are girls more emotional? Is it science, or is it the fact that that's how they were brought up to be because of society? I'm sorry I keep tracing everything back to society, but I've been in a lot of classes that cover those kinds of topics: sociology, philosophy, ethics, that kind of stuff. So I have an understanding of how society impacts things and the origin of a lot of our contemporary practices and traditions and all of that stuff. It's just interesting to notice. But anyways, yeah, the love that you receive from a woman, it's just so nice, I know that it's just a universally understood thing that in general women are more thoughtful. Women are just thoughtful, more sensitive compared to their male counterparts. And again, I'm not saying that men cannot be thoughtful, cannot be sensitive. I'm just saying that if you look at 10 heterosexual couples, you'll see that 9 of them have wives that give the most thoughtful personal gifts ever, and the men just sort of give necklaces that they see on TikTok ads that are like the perfect gift to give your partner. No thought put into it whatsoever. You get the picture. But yeah, don't call for me. This is just the stuff that I see on the internet, okay? And sometimes in real life. Men can definitely be thoughtful and sensitive, but for the most part, women are seen as those things because that's how they are. So in relation to lesbian relationships, you can imagine what it's like when both people, they're just givers, Women are just so good at giving. Men are always seen as the providers in a relationship, in a family, wherever else. But it's a different kind of giving. It's different when you're directly giving to another person by maybe putting an effort to understand them, putting in effort when it comes to learning what they like or making things that they like. When I was just a baby gay, I was still sort of figuring out my sexuality, but I definitely knew that I liked my now girlfriend. Like, I knew that already. I remember this one time we were talking, like we were just chatting through the phone, and I forgot how it was brought up, but I mentioned that I play guitar. At the time, I didn't really play guitar. It's not that I didn't know how to, it's that I hadn't played guitar in so very long, because it happens. It happens to the best of us. We just sort of get bored and we put our instrument down and we don't pick it up for 6 months. And at the time, my girlfriend now, they got so excited. They were like, "Oh my god, you play guitar, that's so cool." And obviously me, having a big fat crush on this girl, I was like, "Really? Thank you." And so I started playing guitar again, and long story short, now I make music and I'm on Spotify, and I release songs about my girlfriend, which is very fun. Would recommend. And it's just, sometimes I would think about how if I never caught feelings for this girl, and if this girl never reciprocated those feelings, would I have still gotten back in touch with my musical side? Would I have still picked up my guitar with that much excitement? Would I have had feelings so intense that I just have to express it through something new, aka a song? Because that's where it all started. It's crazy. And my girlfriend, they're just a prime example of how lesbians love. They're like the most artistic person I know, and she's one of those people who can learn how to do anything. It's crazy. That's one of the reasons I caught feelings for them in the first place. And because of that, obviously they give the best gifts. They're not much of a writer. That's more of my thing. But they're very crafty. So they would make like really cutesy letters and jewelry, necklaces. Sometimes they'd make like those pop-up cards and stuff. They crochet, so I have a bunch of crocheted creations. Look, here's one of them. It's a beanie. Okay, it's not fitting my head all that well right now. Actually, it's okay. I'm gonna keep this on in honor of my girlfriend. Yeah. So that's another example of lesbian love. We're just so, I like it. If you're a lesbian and you're watching this, then you know what I'm talking about. It's, love runs deep, okay? The love just runs so deep. And it's like you want to make them happy all the time. You want to give them everything that you possibly can. And that's something that I feel is exclusive to queer relationships. Dare I say exclusive to lesbian relationships, or like wuhluhwuh relationships. And again, it's because both people just love so hard. And that's not to say that you can't find that same kind of love or dynamic in a heterosexual relationship. I'm just saying that in my experience, based on the people I've seen, the people I've talked to in my own relationship, lesbian love is unmatched. Maybe I'll make that the title of this video. Although that's kind of corny. I don't really care. But yeah, I could go on and on, but my mind is getting messy, so I should probably stop here. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go call my girlfriend now because I want to. I hope you have a good life, be a good person, make good art, eat good food. I hope the people in your life are kind to you, and I hope that you are kind to the people in your life. If they're not kind to you, then you don't have to be kind to them. No. Okay. Good night. Goodbye.